beautiful Scorpio, welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with your twin flame reading. I've already cleansed your space and have meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your wonderful likes, shares, and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about, pretending to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings, and I will never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts, or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam, okay? Let's move straight on with your reading. Now, of course, you can see I'm in a different location. I've gone to visit family for a little while, but I will be back in my usual space right after that, okay? So let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Scorpio, this is your twin flame reading for those twins who are currently in separation. The first pile will be your pile, the second pile will be your person's pile, and the third pile will be your unified energy of how things come together. Also, please be mindful that if anyone is mentally, physically, or emotionally abusive, that is not a twin flame connection. That's more likely to be a false flame connection, and it really will drain you of your beautiful love and waste your wonderful time, okay? So twin flames, of course, they are magnetic. It is an otherworldly experience, a bond like no other. And of course, it's more of a spiritual awakening rather than an actual physically romantic relationship. Now, of course, it is physically romantic in the first place, but it's more of a process that prepares us to release low vibrational energy that keeps us stuck in fear, addictive patterns or cycles, and even unhealthy attachments. Now, it's a very intense inner vibrational transformation, but it is a personal journey of discovery, and it's one that must be done alone. But it's triggered by the twin flame union. And once we discover in our separation period that our true purpose is to embrace unconditional love for self and to focus on your life mission, only then can the reunion process take place and be sustainable. Now, oof, okay, so I can see that you're basically having a new beginning here, my beautiful Scorpio, and we've got a major tower moment for your person, okay? But I want you to be aware, of course, there's a lot of discourse online about what a twin flame connection means, but I'm going to give you a bite-sized kind of idea whilst I shuffle these cards for you. It's more of a formed sacred union as a result of shared difficulty and pain. Your twin will actually reflect back to you your greatest strengths, but also your greatest weaknesses as well, okay? And their presence is actually to amplify and trigger things within you that have been left unhealed by previous experiences. So it's a mirrored exchange. When you look at your twin, you're actually looking in a mirror of all the things within yourself that you need to heal. And there tends to be a dynamic in a twin flame relationship where there is a runner and a chaser and a separation period. Now, that's not always the case, but it tends to be typical to form. And the chaser is the one who already has embraced a spiritual path, someone who is willing to surrender to the love, the depth of the union, which is often exposing and makes one feel vulnerable. But the runner tends to be avoidant. When they look in that mirror, when they look at you, my beautiful Scorpio, they see all the things within themselves that they need to face in order to step up and surrender to the union, things that they've been running away from their whole life. So the twin flame dynamic, when a runner is involved, they push away because they're avoidant. They're avoiding things within themselves that they don't want to see. You know, that little box that they've had locked off, they're not about it. So they get afraid, they get scared, and they push away. They push their twin, even though there's love, even though there is feelings. Both parties feel the depth of the connection. But some people say, well, why do twins not just like fall in love with each other, you know, or just tell each other how they feel. Well, they often come from a place of trauma or have had a difficult experience before they even meet each other. And they are so deeply connected, they feel so deeply that this love actually triggers both their fearful emotions, but also their fight or flight response. You know, it's really hard to love a broken person. It's never easy. It requires patience, deep understanding, and a love so strong that it doesn't waver. And both parties have that within them. But if both parties have had experiences where there's been trauma or challenge, then of course both parties are very cautious. And they tend to, you know, overprotect themselves because they know what it costs themselves to love that deeply. You know, it is not a game, it is an energetic exchange. I always like to explain twin flames like magnets, both identical in polarities because you are twins, of course. So when you think about magnets that have the same frequency, they draw each other in so that there is that intense pull, but also they push away. They actually repel each other as well. And there has to be that space in between so that both parties can actually change their vibrations and come together in a union. And the only way to do that is to put all that care, that love, that devotion inwards for self-love, unconditional self-love, but also to focus on one's true life path. Because twin flames tend to have a mission in each lifetime, a calling, and that's something you must adhere to before there can be a relationship that is sustainable. Now, it's not a game, it's an energetic exchange. And of course, both parties deal with the energy in different ways. I always say, do not wait for your twin, okay? Because, you know, each party has a spiritual path that takes a certain amount of time, and it depends on how long your twin takes to have that revelation. But looking at your person, they've got the tarot right there. They're having a major ego death, because I feel like you've walked away looking at the energy. Things have become stagnant. Things have become stationary and you're not about it. You're fed up of it. I feel with that Fool card, you are enjoying, you know, or trying to enjoy, or even trying to embrace your playful side. You're very young at heart, and this relationship really ground you down. It pulled you down, made you feel very weighty, very serious. And although you are very serious about this person, you know, I feel there is this energy of you're exhausted, okay? We've got that Five of Swords. I feel there's a bit of an inner battle there as well. You know, a lot of you feel defeated in this relationship. You may have even thought about revenge, but I feel the spiritually evolved part of you is to, you know, cut the cord or be successful in spite of this separation period. But I feel it is here that you start from scratch and you sort of, you know, look at your sense of purpose, but also I feel there is this healing of heart space going on there. A lot of you are looking at childhood woundings. So you may have witnessed parents or guardians divorcing, or a very turbulent upbringing. Your first foundation of what it means to love, because you do have the Fool card there, you know, beginnings. So I'm trying to identify what is the root cause of this separation, because every twin flame will have a different dynamic. So some of you, if you have witnessed parents either cheating on each other or guardians cheating on each other, or if you have had very turbulent foundation of what it means to love, that can indicate that as you grow older and you mature, you seek that fix, that drama, because it makes you feel alive in a relationship. So you may have sought people who were emotionally unavailable, or who perhaps were emotionally avoidant. And of course, the twin flame dynamic is a relationship where, you know, one of the parties tends to be afraid of their feelings and they push away. So, you know, that's the dynamic of what I'm feeling in this relationship right now. Can it be saved? Of course it can. Looking at the energy, we've got the Temperance card there with balance, two parties coming together. We got the Four of Pentacles. There needs to be a stronger foundation in this relationship. I feel both parties, when you first met each other, either your person had just come out of something, okay, they were not looking for love, and they were pretty shocked by the depth of their feeling for you. But the Ten of Pentacles can indicate this can be a very strong investment relationship, that you and this person can settle down, maybe even get married to each other in the future, or at least, you know, surrender to a high level commitment, because this is a card of, you know, joining family lineages or investing in a relationship where both of you, there is continuity, there is sustainability. So there is growth in this connection. But let's get to the cards and see what's going on here. We got the Fool card. Now, this is how you're feeling right now. You want to be free of this, okay? You didn't really want to be free of this, but I feel like you've been put in a position because nothing's happening. You know, you have that Knight of Pentacles, and of all the Knights, the Knight of Pentacles is stationary. It's non-moving. So you feel that, you know, what we experience and do not change, we accept. So I feel there's been a bit of a cycle of repeat that has gone on in this connection, and you don't want to accept this anymore. So you had to be the very strong person to break the cycle. You are the catalyst for change. And people don't realize that, you know, the twin flame dynamic only changes and becomes a healthy, sustainable relationship where both parties can come together in union when one party steps away. You know, the twin flame who is the runner has already avoided their feelings and stepped away from the union, but the bond is there. They keep being drawn back for a reason, because there's love, because there is a sense of familiarity. You both feel like somehow you've known each other before, you feel like home to each other, but then the fears rise up. And for some of you, and don't shoot the messenger when I say this, I'm being given this energy that deep down with that Fool card and the Five of Swords, for some of you, when you first met this person, you may have overthought this connection, and you may have taken a slight step back first, and then this person, they were like, nah, I'm out. Okay, so I felt that this person felt a slight withdrawal. That doesn't mean it's your fault. It doesn't mean that anyone is to blame here. I'm not here to take sides at all. But these two cards can tell me, because this is a first card, okay? It's like the beginning of the relationship or the beginning of the connection. And the Five of Swords is like you were conflicted, or you had your doubts, or you were hesitant. This person, there was a lot of drama about this person. So I don't blame you for actually stepping back and wanting to protect your beautiful heart. So I feel, you know, there was this energy of like, okay, I'm not sure what happened there or what went down. For some of you, because there is a Ten of Wands with your person, it can be that this person had just ended something with somebody. Okay, Ten of Wands indicates that this person has a lot of baggage. They've got a lot of stuff going on, and you may have felt really drawn to this person and very supportive of this person. You actually brought this person's playful side out. I feel they have a lot of responsibility on their shoulders. They're very guarded, very protective. And I feel this Eight of Swords, you know, even if you know the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, the Eight of Swords is someone standing in the center of swords, guarding them. So this person is very closed off, very locked off to love. But also, they felt about you that you have this like impenetrable shield. So it's like they felt they couldn't break down the walls, even though you tried really hard, but something went on before. And for some of you, because the Fool card is there, it can be the very foundation of you, what you experienced when you were younger, the first foundation of what it means to love. So either some of you beautiful Scorpios, there was this absence energy where what I'm being given here is like an abandonment energy, okay? So it can be that either you witnessed parents or guardians abandoning each other, you know, or you are kind of like recognizing that you're in a period of reprogramming where that wasn't your story. You're starting from scratch. You're kind of healing a lot of your generational lineage, and that's a very hard thing to do. And you are that catalyst for change. You're stepping back. Remember the magnets. You know, when you have these two magnets, both identical in polarity, both you and your twin, you want to be together, but there's something in between. It's like that energy that has to be discussed or dissolved, okay? And if you think of this as the chaser, then that would be your energy where you want to reach out to this person, you want to be with this person because there's a depth of feeling. You wanted to invest in this connection. You know, you gave this person a helping hand. You were supportive to this person. You actually saw this person deeper than sometimes they see themselves, okay? And I feel actually you really understand the trigger in this person. You understand why this person has stepped out or stepped back or why they are protecting themselves. But I feel like you put a halt to this as a self-protective measure. If you think about the nature of a scorpion, whenever it perceives a threat, it strikes out first. You got there first. You stepped back there first, okay? Now, I'm a Scorpio, so to some degree, I understand that because we have this famous kind of withdrawal in order to contemplate or think about something before we really get into it, because the stakes are high. When you fall in love, you fall deep, and you're not going to expose yourself to that level of love that you have to offer another person without really analyzing it first. So I feel there's this energy where it's almost like, and again, don't shoot the messenger, it feels very much like a misunderstanding at the very beginning of your relationship, like a misconstrued energy where it's like, oh my gosh, are they stepping back? Oh my gosh, they're going a bit quiet. What's happening there? And then suddenly a flurry of activity. And, you know, because they've got the tower there, I just feel like this person was kind of shocked with something. Now, it could be that you are someone who is very passionate. You're someone who is all-consuming. You actually merge with the person that you're in love with. You know, it's almost sometimes symbiotic, which can be wonderful as an experience, but also it can be unhealthy to the relationship, because I feel both of you are learning a lesson that you are, you know, separate beings who come together in union. You are a welcome addition to each other's life, but you are whole all by yourself, and your happiness is not tied up with another. So I feel a lot of you are learning to detach from these sort of kind of constructs that society have told us, as it were. And I feel like you are learning to be independent and free and love your energy all by yourself. And I feel your person feels your step back. And whether you step back at the beginning of the relationship or not everybody will have an understanding of that or feel like they did that, of course. But what I do see with this Fool card right now is you're breaking free from this because you've had enough. You're exhausted. And I also feel like your person is exhausted. And it's really interesting because humans, they don't really change unless they're really exhausted or fed up with the same old stuff, right? So I feel to some degree, both of you, there is a breakdown of what went before in order to rebuild. But the Fool card there, it indicates that you're trying to be a little bit more playful. You're trying to open yourself up, learn more about yourself, really look at your family lineage or look at the very beginning of you, you know, really go back to when you were a child, because this can connect to childhood woundings. It can be that you're processing things, healing things, but also this can be that you're actually stepping away from this union because you can't do this anymore. I feel you're done. I feel that you've given everything you can to this relationship. And remember the magnets. You are the catalyst for change because you're stepping back. This is the magnet that removes. You know, the chaser says enough. Then all of a sudden you put all that love, care, and devotion into yourself and your purpose path, and you change the vibration here, which means this magnet comes closer. Because of course you are in a different energy and they are now drawn to that energy because you've changed. And that gives them an encouragement on their journey, because of course we all have choice. And I always say, do not wait for your twin, because you know, you could be waiting a long time. Some people wait years, decades, days, weeks. It depends on your twin and it depends on the soul contract you have with that person. But by you withdrawing, it gives your person an opportunity to step up or step out. And I feel this person, they're kind of shocked that you're done. It kind of releases them from denial, to be honest, because they've got the 8 of Swords there, okay? They've also got the 10 of Wands, and I feel with that Tower energy, it's like suddenly there is a major revelation. Suddenly there is a wake-up call, a major ego death with this person. So I feel this person, they're going to shock you by saying they're ready to take a leap of faith, but I feel like you've already shocked them by saying, well, I'm out. I'm gone. You had your opportunity. I value myself in a different way. It took a lot of strength for you to do that, my beautiful Scorpio. You know, again, it's like the Scorpion. Self-preservation mode meant you had to strike out first, or you had to sever it first, even though it hurt you, even though it caused you pain to do that. You did not want to step away from this union. I do feel deep, deep, deep down, if this person could come to you in reciprocity and offer you an explanation, or at least confirm an understanding that you have of why this person stepped out, that you would want to start again. The Fool card is a fresh new start, but I feel this energy is more that you've been to a place of hope many times with this. And I feel right now, you know, you took a chance on this path. You know, it's almost like you saw the red flags because you're very intuitive. You knew that this person was not ready to surrender to the depth of love that you have to offer, even though you know that this person is your twin flame. but you still surrendered to the union anyway. You still gave yourself to this. You took a risk. This is a risk card with the Fool card. And I feel that you are now kind of contemplating an adventure with somebody new. So a lot of you may be deciding to kind of halt your interaction with this person, or you withdrew your energy from this connection to embrace adventure or new stars, or maybe even connect to new people. And I feel there lies the solution. As you can see, the keys are in this card. It's like you've now unlocked the next level of the twin flame dynamic, because you stepping away forced this person into an energetic wake-up call. They got revelation here. Unfortunately, and I don't like this energy, but it tends to be true to form, and it is actually a very kind of immature energy. So your person is learning. They're on a spiritual path as well. We can't all be at the same vibration. We can only meet each other as deeply as we have met ourselves. And you have met yourself on a very deep level, my beautiful Scorpio. But unfortunately, this sentence is true to form that my guides are giving me, which is we often realize what we had when we've lost it. And I feel this person is in that vibration right now. They're realizing what happened. And I feel that tower indicates that they're pretty broken. Okay. Now, looking at the energy of the Five of Swords, that doesn't mean that you don't think about this person. I feel there's a lot of racing thoughts in your mind about this person sometimes. And a lot of you have had intrusive thoughts about this connection. Some of you may have felt the whole experience was unfair. Twin flames, they actually trigger each other to heal each other. Now, a healer doesn't always have to be a person you go to for healing. Sometimes the universe sends your twin, because they are actually a trigger, they send the twin in order to amplify all the things that went before that need healing. So something from your past, before you even met your twin, had to be healed, but it was left unhealed, and it got triggered in the process of the twin flame connection. And for some of you, this is a trust issue. Five of Swords can indicate that either you've been hurt before you met your twin, or you've been bullied, and you've had some very unfair relationships, or for some of you, you've been betrayed in the past. Someone cheated on you. And now looking at your energy with your twin, the person I'm picking up on is a twin flame, but did not cheat on you. So that's the energy that I've got. Sometimes twins will take a karmic, but I feel if anything with the twin flame dynamic I'm picking up right now, it can be that your person had just closed out a very messy relationship when they met you, and they were trying to find their way. And this person was a very broken person. Ten of Wands indicates that they had a lot of responsibility. They were exhausted after a very challenging relationship that tried to break them. And they were rebuilding their life. They were just not ready. They were very closed off to love. The Eight of Swords tells me that. They were very protective. They were feeling that love equates pain. And I actually feel that this person that you're dealing with actually had an abandonment issue as well. So two people who amplified and triggered things within themselves need to be healed. So that Five of Swords can indicate that whilst you're moving away from this connection, you still think about it from time to time. And I feel you are conflicted about this, because there is this energy with this Knight of Pentacles that you've invested in this relationship. You may be wondering, is this person going to reach out? Looking at the energy, I do see a coming together in your future. But this person, I got to be honest with you, they're closing out a very chaotic place of their life. Something that was nothing to do with you. This person is very chaotic. They've got the Tower, they got the Ten of Wands, they got the Eight of Swords. They're very closed off, very emotionally unavailable. This person is like they were in analysis paralysis when they first met you. They found it really challenging to open up to the depth of love that you had to offer. They saw you as someone who was wild and free, and they actually wanted to be like you to some degree, but something prevented them. They had that shield, and it's almost like they projected their feelings upon you because they felt like you had the shield. And I feel both of you to some degree did have that protective measure before you both met each other. That's something that's coming out very strongly in this particular dynamic. But also, you know, and this is the hardest thing to fathom, and I'm sending you a huge hug out there, so much love, because a twin flame journey can be a very lonely experience, okay? Because not everybody wants to take the journey of the twin flame connection because it is so challenging. It is very rewarding when you come together. I mean, when I first met my twin, you know, I'd just come out of a very challenging relationship. It was something that broke me completely, and you know, I had been cheated on in the past with that person before I met my twin. Okay, I want you to be aware of that. So I was very closed off to love, and actually a shell of a person when I met my twin. And as soon as I met my twin, I was like, nope. You know, I had so much love, so much intensity for this person. I was really drawn to them. I had no idea why or what this was. I was like, what is going on here? But because of my experiences from my past, love was pain. Love, you know, really broke me. So I thought, I'm not getting into that, even though I feel so intensely attracted to this person. And it was more than that. There was depth there, but I was scared and I was immature on my journey. We all are learning. We're all on different paths, and we're all on different parts of our path. And as I spiritually evolved, and you know, my twin kept trying to connect to me, but you know, I didn't realize at the time either that I was pushing them away. I was just not conscious of it. And then there was that space. Suddenly there was a separation period that just took the amount of time it needed to take, where I started to realize, oh my gosh, I got these feelings. I need to heal myself first. I need to be independent. I need to do all this stuff first. Not in a selfish way, but I had nothing left to offer because I was so broken down and tired by previous experiences. And I was, as I said, a shell of myself. I couldn't offer love because there was self-loathing. I felt all those previous experiences were somehow my fault, or they had robbed me of my confidence. So I was really a nothingness. That's how I felt at the time. But my twins saw something in me that, you know, they fell in love with, and they kept trying. But they eventually realized they had to step away. And that's where the healing took place. And that's where, you know, each time we tried to come together, we were trying to force the union because we wanted to be together, but at the same time, it couldn't work until the healing was done. And when the healing has been done, that's when you come together in a sustainable relationship. But it is a process, and I say do not wait for your twin because it will take as long as it takes. Now, Five of Swords, this is why it's really hard for you, because you have the crystal ball right there, which means you saw a future with this person. You just know, and you knew that this person was someone significant in your life. You knew that this person was your twin. So this is where the inner battle is. How can it be this way? How can you feel this way and feel this love and know that this person actually feels the same way about you, but somehow it feels still misaligned? Because both parties need to focus on their life's mission. Twins have a purpose, and I feel you are focusing on that right now. And that is the catalyst for change right there. But I'm going to pull a card on that Five of Swords, okay? The Five of Swords is a card of tension. And tension brings in change, okay? So I feel that there's also something that you want to say to this person that perhaps has been left unsaid. You will get an opportunity to say this in the future if you want to. That's your prerogative. But the Fool card is indicating right now that a lot of you tried to cut a cord, or you're so done with this. You're so fed up. You're like, no, I can't do this. Can't keep doing this. We got the Sun. You're in a period of healing, loving yourself fully. Actually, you know, I feel some of you are going to meet a soulmate very soon. So if you are disconnecting from your twin, there's only one twin in a lifetime. I want you to be aware of that. And you'll meet each other each lifetime and try to correct the lesson or course correct so you can come together in union. Okay, so if it's not this lifetime, it will be the next lifetime. But there is a soulmate coming in for you if you want, you know, a soulmate. Just to be aware, twin flames, it is very rewarding when you come together in union. I want you to be aware of that. So there is a purpose. But we have the Sun card there. So I feel like you are just trying to be happy. You're going through a major awakening. A lot of you are detoxifying, purifying, going through some very cathartic emotions right now to get them out, release and let go. You know, the bath indicates a period of purifying, of self-care needs. And the Ace of Cups, you know, the Ace is always a start. It indicates that the cup of love is for the self first. It is to adhere to your own emotional needs. So this pause between, you and your twin, has a purpose. It is so you can fall back in love with your life and rediscover yourself and love yourself unconditionally. There is love in this connection. Deep down, you love this person, but it has triggered a major awakening upon you in order to seek your happiness and know that you are happy all by yourself. You don't need this person to be happy. You are free to explore all that life has to offer, but ultimately you wanted to be with your person. And your person is going to let you know that there is love there. This person actually feels love, the depth of love that actually you have, but it scared them. I mean, they got the Tower, they got the Ten of Wands, and they got the Eight of Swords, so they may have abruptly ended this connection out of fear, shock. They were like, oh my gosh, what is this? So I'm going to pull some cards on them, but I do feel with this Knight of Pentacles energy that it's kind of at a stalemate right now. You're busy focusing on your projects, working really hard to make your life work and be sustainable, focusing on your finances. You know, you actually worked really hard to save this relationship. You were faithful. You were determined to make it work. So that's why you may have allowed a couple of cycles of repeat, because you tend to try and understand a person, where they're coming from, because you tend to see beyond what is readily available to you to see. You know, you go deeper than that. You sense a person. And I feel, you know, this is a protective, this almost like is the Hamza hand, right, in this card. So I feel like you're in a very protective mode right now where you're protecting your heart. You've launched yourself into activities to be practical and basically focus on finances, family responsibilities, and being content in life. You know, I also get this sense that, you know, you've been very patient with this and you're a reliable person. And I feel like a lot of you with that Fool card is like, well, you know what? I have to take myself elsewhere. You didn't want to, you were forced to. You're in a position where nothing's happening. So I feel like you're teaching this person what it means to live a life without you. And there lies the catalyst for change. And here's the person's change. They're having a big old wake-up call. This is a card of revelation. Suddenly they see. Okay? And the Tower indicates that they were in a cycle of repeat. I often, you know, liken the Tower to a prison, a construct that we build around ourselves of security, you know, which can be nice for a while, but suddenly you realize that it's austere. It's void of feeling. There's nothing going on there. So this person realized that they were stuck in a repetitive pattern and they needed to break out of it. And the only way they could do that was actually to lose you. So I feel this person is pretty shocked. I need to feel a little bit more deeper with this person because right now I feel like maybe they always have been. I'm being given this energy that this person's in crisis, or they were always in crisis. There was always some sort of drama, or there was always something going on. They always found a reason why. I mean, the Eight of Swords and the Tower is to be limited by fear. It is to be stuck in fear. But I got to find out why, because this person is like presenting as breaking down, facing their fears, but I got to find out what these fears are to understand the union and how it can come together. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Scorpio? What do they need to know? It's interesting because if you know the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, the Tower, there is a lightning bolt, which means the frequencies are getting higher. And as the frequencies rise higher, it means suddenly there's revelations. It hits the crown chakra, which means to know. So this person knows that you are their twin. But also there's two people that take a leap of faith. Okay? And as you can see, this figure is taking a leap of faith. So it's fight or flight mode this person has been in constantly for some reason. And it's something they experienced before they even met you. And it basically, you know, transformed the relationship and how they conducted themselves in it. It was basically cause and effect. Their actions had consequences, and here we are. So I feel both of you actually have cards where you're taking a leap of faith. And because we have a union in the future, I feel for some of you, not all of you, but some of you will actually take that leap of faith in your future with this person and try again. So let me see what this is. Lover's card. Yeah, this person is afraid of love. You know, it's like, I feel that this person was closing something out. I mean, the Ten of Wands tells me there was an ending there, okay? And they have baggage from a past situation. Thanks so much, I'm so grateful. I just heard from my guides, it was just a voice that just came through. They feel like you're too good for them. Okay, so maybe this is something they've said to you in the past, but that's something that's just come through there. But I mean, their fear is love itself. There is an abandonment issue with this person. I feel, you know, if you know this person's past, I feel with that Ten of Wands, they watch someone leave, a parental figure leave, okay? And it shocked the very foundation of their household. I even feel like they may have like lived with other relatives at some point as well. There's just this chaos that this person experienced when they were younger. They may have told you about this. They may not have told you about this either. Maybe something was very protective, but this is something you will come to know in the future if you do not know this already. But this person was like shocked at the depth of their feeling for you. I mean, this person, this pile is how they feel about you. And there's something about you that made them feel like stuck in a position where they were just, how can I put that? It's like they were paralyzed with fear. And it's not that you bred fear in them. You didn't scare them. I feel the depth of emotion that you had and that they have for you, it triggered all of these kind of like crises thoughts in their head, because they may have witnessed a destruction of a relationship or experienced a destruction of something before, and they were broken down already. You know, I'm being given that they were not strong enough to receive the love that was on offer at the time. They were not looking for love. They were completely closed down and shut off to it. Eight of Swords says, no, thank you, not going to go there. I'm just going to protect myself. You know, there is a major shield around this person. The walls were high, but I feel there is a crumbling here. This person loves you deeply. And I feel like their choices based on their fear, because this is a choice card, their choices based on their fear, I feel like they regret it. They made an error of judgment there, okay? So, yeah, there's love. This person knows that you are their twin. But also I feel like this person, they were in a secure relationship, or so they thought before they met you. And then suddenly they were shocked. And I feel this person may even have been cheated on, is what I'm being given. So when they're looking at you like you are perhaps, and I got to say this, right? Both of you come together in union. You are harmonized. Both of you, no one is better than the other, right? Okay, but this person perceives that you have more to offer the union than they do, or they have nothing to offer, or they feel like they're not good enough for the union. And I feel that fear in itself made them like feel rooted to the spot, like they couldn't give to this. They wanted to, but they couldn't for some reason. And again, that's not an excuse. I'm not here to give anyone a way out. Everyone makes choices, and this person realizes with their revelation card that they made a choice. But it's interesting because both of you, even in different decks, you know, there's the hand with the eye on it, which, you know, resembles the Hamza hand, which is protection, which is like stop, pause. Who goes there? You're not going to gain access. So now I'm a Scorpio too, as I mentioned before, and Scorpions, and we don't do it on purpose and we don't do it as a gameplay, but in order to kind of like make sure that we're doing the right thing, we tend to kind of like reflect and not test per se, but kind of like observe certain traits or qualities in a person based on some of the things that we do, just to see if a person is going to hurt us or if they are worthy of our affection or our connection. For example, you know, your circle of trust is very small, my beautiful Scorpio. So you could be very much observing this person. This person was observing you as well. And, you know, I feel they've also got a little eye there, but this is at the very base of the tower. So this can be that this person, they, from the very beginning of their childhood as well, has had either something very similar to you, or they also watch and observe, and it felt like two people at stalemate watching each other step away out of fear or being very guarded. So that's what I'm getting in this connection. May not resonate with everyone, but I have to honor what I'm being given in this moment. But the Eight of Swords, with this Ten of Wands energy, Ten of Wands is like baggage. It means the end of something. So I feel like they were experiencing an ending when you came in. And I feel they're gathering the strength to make some changes in their life. But right now, they can see that their actions had consequences, and deep down, they're shocked that it's done. I feel they're in a moment of like complete shutdown about this, where they're contemplating and judging everything that happened. Because the Eight of Swords is to finally see something clearly, to remove denial, to really opens one eye about something. And I mean, you know, the all-seeing eye, the pineal gland. I feel this person is like shocked. They're having a major awakening, an ego death, where suddenly they realize they've lost their twin. Okay, I'm going to pull another card before I move on to the outcome, because in its present form, you know, I feel that there's no movement. It's stalemate. Nothing's happening. No one's talking. There's no like communication. Queen of Cups. There's love. So this person in this pause is revealing how much they feel for you. I feel this person is ready to fall in love. That's what the Queen of Cups means. It means to be ready to fall in love. It means that they were very insecure. They're doing a lot of emotional healing. And I feel they've been learning to love themselves, erecting healthier boundaries as well. But so have you, my beautiful Scorpio. The Emperor, they've been maturing. They're becoming the twin in maturity that they needed to be. So I do feel that there is a step up here, okay? I feel that no matter where this person goes, I feel like it's always in the back of their mind that they let you go or that they pushed you away. And I feel this is something that will be communicated. But looking at the energy, I'm going to have to pull a card on it because I just don't see movement, but somehow you're coming together. So I'm not sure how that can be. I have to find out from my guides. Okay, so with this card, it is the Temperance card. So this is about you both being locked onto your sense of purpose. Okay, and for some of you, you or your twin, there's either a contemplation of moving abroad or some sort of like distance there. But I feel this distance, symbolically, it is that you're going to grow together rather than apart in your future. Now, of course, that's your prerogative, my beautiful Scorpio. A lot of you are like done, but then so is your person. Your person is done with like making decisions that break everything apart. They're so done with the chaos of their past. They've been living in their past narrative. And I feel like they've been detaching from it right now with that Eight of Swords because it has controlled them. That fear has controlled every decision they ever made. And they want to break free from it. That's that Tower. They're breaking free. But are they ready for a connection? I would say there's still time that needs to be given to this connection. So this is a card of patience, but also it is a card of both of you being locked onto your sense of purpose before you can come together. However, there is two people literally there coming together in friendship or in reciprocity. You know, I'm actually seeing their arms are linked. So I feel you and this person, there can be a foundation where your soul vibration matches in a frequency that brings you together. But I need to see how, because you have a Four of Pentacles, which means both of you are looking at the foundation of you in order to build a foundation that can grow a healthy relationship that is sustainable with your person. Four of Pentacles can indicate that which is being held on to that is preventing this relationship from moving forward needs to be let go. And I feel like your person is letting go. I feel you, my beautiful Scorpio, have already let go. I feel like you've transcended a lot of the lessons that you have been given and passed with flying colors. It doesn't feel like it sometimes, but you know, Knight of Swords, lifestyle changes, Nine of Wands. Okay, so there is going to be communication. So the Knight of Swords has popped out, so it indicates the person who is radically making lifestyle changes, which actually is both of you, but because your person has such, you know, intense awakening cards, I feel your person is going to reach out to you and tell you that they are changing their life. Okay, they're going to give you a communication. Now, this communication will give you a decision. and a decision needs to be made. And I feel you need to stand strong in that decision, one way or another. So whether you're going to move forward with this and try and heal this relationship, because I do see that it is savable. You can come together in union. But if you decide to walk away, then that's it. I feel the conversation that you have with your person next is the make or break. Okay, I literally see it as a make or break conversation. Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands is the wounded warrior, okay? So it means that both of you are going to be very guarded in your communication, but you can make headway. Nine of Wands says, you know, there's love there, so you're not going to give up on this, but it's going to be a process. And I would say here that this is a card of protection. You know, I would say here that the barriers are up. There's a defense mechanism that needs to be broken down here, but I do feel that both of you are very strong people with the things that you've experienced. But the Knight of Swords says there needs to be accountability. There needs to be action. And this person needs to take responsibility for their actions because they had consequences. You know, I feel this person made an error of judgment and they realize that now. There's always two sides of a story. No one's a saint, but we all have to take accountability for our actions in that moment in order to process things and harmonize and come together. So I do see that both of you can create a patient, balanced, harmonious relationship where there is moderation and reciprocity. There can be a coming togetherness, but I feel, you know, it is going to be a process. It is going to be a thing that develops over time, especially since we've got that Four of Pentacles. You know, it's really interesting. That's why I see it as a make or break, because we have two cards here with two people on it, which highlights the twin flame dynamic. And then we've got one card here with one person on it there. Okay, so it can be that, do you move forward together as a unit, or do you move forward apart? So I feel the choice will be yours because you've had some energy here, which means things can go either way in this union. It depends really, I feel, on what you want after this, my beautiful Scorpio, because the Four of Pentacles indicates that the foundation will be set for you both to come together and live a relationship where there is a legacy, a long-term relationship that is sustainable. This is long-term security, and that's what you're seeking in a relationship, hopefully with this person, but ultimately that Ten of Pentacles can indicate, I mean, these two cards together with the Temperance card basically mean that you and this person will reunite and settle down together. Maybe even get married if that's what you want. It depends on what you want, really, because the Ten of Pentacles is a marriage card. It can be an investment card. So both of you need to remember your self-worth when you are approaching the relationship, because confidence is an aphrodisiac. And if both of you are tearing yourselves down inside with intrusive thoughts or fears of past situations, or even the worst case scenario of how this relationship could, you know, go in a negative sense. I mean, already you're in a separation period, so it potentially couldn't get any worse than it is right now. Okay, so I feel you and this person, there is this kind of core to the reading where it's like, are you going to take a leap of faith together? Are you both going to take a risk and take that risk together, or are you going to take the risk apart? But that Ten of Pentacles, you know, I feel both of you can invest in this relationship long term. But it's going to be a slow process because Pentacles are always very slow energy. And we have that tree. If you think about the nature of a tree, it starts with that small seed of growth. And then suddenly it flourishes into something really strong. You know, you and this person, you can plant roots together. But I feel the actual reason why both of you are separate is rooted in your family lineage, or rooted in the very foundation of you. Something that both of you experienced from your past before you even met each other has got in the way of this connection. So I'm just going to go and get some final cards for you. These are conversations of things left unsaid. So let's see what pops out there. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Great Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Scorpio? Okay, so we've got confirmation there. I avoided what I was feeling. Yeah, I avoided what I was feeling there. Okay, so that's evident with your person. They avoided their feelings. They were afraid of the depth of love, especially if they've loved and lost before. Love equates pain to this person, especially a person who has an abandonment issue. And they can really struggle with that, and it can really kind of define who they are. And we've also got, I can feel our connection getting stronger. Interesting. Because you're stepping away and this person can feel you stronger, which is making them break down the walls, which is making them own their stuff. You know, we all have stuff that we have to acknowledge and process before we can really truly surrender to love. So I feel this person, there is a transformation. They've even got a snake here on this card. So there's a lot of pillars in this person's energy. So I would say that this is very much from their childhood as well. So twin flames, they often have had a very similar journey until they meet each other. Okay, so I'm just going to go and get a trinket or rune before we close. Okay, so we have a wish. We've got a little fairy godmother there sitting on a moon, a crescent moon. Now, crescent moons can indicate, especially when there's a person sitting on a crescent moon, it can indicate that a person became comfortable with uncertainty. Almost like they never knew where they stood and they were always in fight or flight mode. If a person has trauma from a previous experience, they can have unhealed responses, and I feel both of you, something triggered that, and that was why both of you stepped away, and there was kind of like a misunderstanding from the very beginning is what I'm being given. And what else am I being given? I feel if the wish is that both of you can come together, I feel it will be so. I actually feel that, you know, deep down your person does wish to come together with you, but the moon is all about fears. And I feel sometimes when we love a person, we can love them with all of our being. And we want to surrender to the union, but fear can literally limit the progress in that. I'm actually someone who experienced that myself. And I feel that there is healing here because there's a little star, okay? So whilst the healing process may be long and labored at times, and sometimes it feels like a very lonely path, I do feel that you and this person are about to have a breakthrough, and I feel you can come together. But I feel both of you had to kind of like feel more confident in yourselves, overcome a fear or an insecurity, and process something and let it go, nurture yourselves, and really fall in love with yourself first before you could surrender to this union. And I feel both of you, looking at the energy, you can come together in the future. You have not heard the last of this person, let me put it that way, okay? So I'll leave it there. I hope something resonates in that reading for you, my beautiful Scorpio. Thank you so much, and love and light.